Jacinda joined Michael for dinner at the Metro Court Gardens and asked about his day. Michael said he didn't want to talk about his day. "I asked you to dinner to get to know you better, not to talk about myself," he said. Michael told her he was genuinely interested in her life. "For now, why don't you tell me one thing about yourself that not many people know?" he suggested. Jacinda admitted she used to dream of backpacking across the world and sleeping under the stars, but she saw a spider during her first time in the wilderness and scratched that dream. "I booked a tent with a glamping company and never looked back," she quipped. Michael admitted he also preferred glamping. "To kindred spirits," Jacinda said as they toasted. Just then, Nina walked in with Wiley. Nina was stunned when Michael introduced Wiley to Jacinda. He asked Wiley to sit with them, but Nina pulled Michael aside first. "Are you really going to let my grandchild hang out with a call girl?" Nina asked. "Looks like it." "Sorry to ruin your plan," Michael replied. He accused Nina of deliberately bringing Wiley there to disrupt him and Jacinda. "I did think that you'd be sensible enough not to introduce your son to an escort," Nina spat. She went to get Wiley, but Michael stopped her. She threatened to tell the judge about Jacinda, but Michael didn't care. By the time that visitation hearing rolls around, Willow will be locked up for good, Michael stressed. Nina ignored what Michael said and told him she would document this little family outing and make sure the judge saw it. Michael then told her to get out of the hotel since his mother owned it. He lobbed a few other minor threats and walked away. He then posed for a photo with Jacinda and Wiley. Later, while Jacinda, Wiley, and Michael were having dessert, Willow showed up and lurked in the corner. It looks like Alexis managed to get her out on bail after all. Nathan arrived at Anna's office to find Dante there in a suit. Dante was now the new acting police commissioner. He explained to Nathan that Anna had to take a leave of absence, and Matt couldn't take the job because he was out of town tending to Maxie too much. Dante told Nathan that the PCPD was busy, but now short-staffed, so he offered Nathan a job. Nathan had already had a successful psych evaluation, which meant he was cleared to work. They both found it odd that they had not heard from Anna. Dante admitted that he was slightly worried, but knew that Anna could take care of herself. Nathan admitted that he was surprised that Laura chose Sonny Corinthos' son as the new acting police commissioner. "I asked Laura if she thought I was the right choice. She said, 'Let me worry about the optics and you worry about doing the job,'" Dante explained. The subject turned to the Drew Kane case. Nathan said he remembered him being a decent guy once he got away from Helena Cassadine. Well, that didn't last. "He's a real piece of work. He's basically turned every friend he's ever had into an enemy," Dante accurately explained. Dante told Nathan that all the evidence pointed to Willow, who was both Michael's ex-wife and Chase's ex-wife. Nathan thought it was daring of Chase to keep visiting her at Pentonville. "He's always had my back. I just want you to look out for him. Keep him on the straight and narrow." As Brooklyn questioned Chase about his visits with Willow, he maintained the fact that he believes Willow is innocent. Brooklyn understood this, but she didn't understand why Chase was visiting Willow and keeping it a secret from her. "Are you actively working to get her exonerated?" she asked. "Yeah, I am," Chase replied. Chase admitted that he had been visiting Willow. Brooklyn thanked him for being honest with her, but said she already knew about the visits because Dante had told her about them. "Why didn't you tell me yourself first?" she asked. Chase claimed he didn't want to put her in a difficult position because Michael was her cousin. Brooklyn was not happy to hear that Chase believed Michael shot Drew and framed Willow. Brooklyn was surprised and disturbed to hear that Chase was putting together his own case when the police already had one against Willow. She wondered if a private investigation was legal. Chase admitted that it was a gray area, which alarmed Brooklyn. "I can't let an innocent person get railroaded," Chase said. "You don't know that Willow is innocent," Brooklyn argued. She pointed out that Chase had already lost his badge once and didn't want to see him go through that again. "Now you're willing to jeopardize your career again?" "For Willow?" Brooklyn asked incredulously. "Brooklyn, are you worried about my career or that I might prove that Michael did it?" Chase asked. Brooklyn admitted it was possible Michael did this, but she didn't think it was probable. "I just don't want to think that it's true," she said. Finally, Chase admitted the truth. "If I stand by and do nothing and Willow is wrongfully convicted, I will blame myself." Brooklyn said the only person to blame was the person who shot Drew. At the GH Nurses Hub, Lucas broke the news to Elizabeth that he and Marco were moving in together. Liz was excited for him until she learned he'd be moving to Windermere. She pulled Lucas aside to chastise him for moving in with Marco, along with his father, the dreaded Sidwell. She reminded Lucas of what Sidwell did to Lucky and Jason. Lucas made every excuse in the world to live at Windermere and reasoned that it was a castle, so they'd barely see Sidwell. "Are you sure you're not doing this to sabotage your relationship and give yourself an excuse to bail?" Elizabeth asked. Lucas claimed that was not the issue at all. Plus, he looked forward to living in the lap of luxury for a change. Lulu visited with Olivia in the Q kitchen, commenting on how quiet it was without Ronnie and Tracy. Lulu was surprised to hear Tracy was out of town since the moving company had picked up all the boxes from her house. Olivia told Lulu there was a mix-up with the boxes and they'd never arrived. Olivia then changed the subject and told Lulu that Rocco and Danny had been talking about Britt. However, Olivia did not hear exactly what they were saying. Lulu told Olivia that Rocco had been meeting up with Britt behind her back. Lulu was also worried that Danny wasn't the right person to talk to about Britt, as Danny was Jason's son and Jason and Britt are close. Rocco is not getting the full picture of her, Lulu said. As Lulu went on and on about how much she hates Britt and why, Olivia said, "She's a horror show and sooner or later, Rocco is going to find that out for himself." They went off on Britt some more until Gio called to tell Olivia that Ned had a heart attack. Rocco, Danny, and Charlotte boarded the hospital elevator to try and get the key fob from Britt. Rocco asked Danny if he was sure he wanted to do this with them, reminding Danny that if he got in trouble, then Drew would have more of an excuse to keep Danny away from Scout. Danny pointed out that Drew would still hate him either way. Charlotte then told the boys her plan. They needed to distract Britt while she somehow lifted the key fob. At Kelly's, Emma and Gio readied for their big night, breaking into Dalton's lab. When they walked outside, they were stunned to see Ned lying on the ground in the throes of an apparent heart attack. When Gio didn't find a pulse, he tried to do chest compressions, but Emma had already run upstairs to get the doctor in the house. Britt ran out and took charge, giving Ned CPR. She rode with Ned in the ambulance and gave Lucas his vitals when they brought him into the ER. She was shocked when Lucas and Liz kicked her out of the trauma room. The next thing we knew, Emma and Gio had arrived and met up with Rocco, Danny, and Charlotte. Britt joined them and told them that Ned had been stabilized in the ambulance and the medical team was working on him. Emma pointed out that Britt saved Ned's life. Britt then realized her bag was missing and ran to see if she had left it in the ambulance. When she didn't find it there, Britt asked Rocco, Charlotte, and Danny to see if she had left her bag at Bobby's. The kids thought they had hit pay dirt and left. Soon, Emma called them to say the plan was being postponed since Gio wanted to wait for word on Ned. In the trauma room, Lucas worried that Ned would need bypass surgery. In the waiting room, Lulu and Olivia arrived. Gio told them that Britt was the one who saved Ned's life. Olivia was horrified when Lucas told them that Ned needed emergency surgery.